Meghan Mahon, goalball.
I was involved in pretty much any sport you could think of, from the time I could walk, and by the time I had skates that fit, I was on the ice learning how to skate and getting involved in hockey. All of my sports for probably the first 15 years of my life were alongside my able-bodied peers, and it wasn't until about grade 9 that I got involved in some form of parasport in the form of athletics, and then transitioned from there. As someone who was born with a visual impairment, it's the only world that I know. So being able to just adapt every day in my daily life, it was just normal for me, and that's what I saw, and I didn't know any different from what I saw versus what other people saw. So it really was just me taking part how I knew how, and as I started getting older and sports started getting faster, it definitely took some skills in me advocating for what I needed. Sometimes that meant having a auditory caller, so my hockey coach calling from the bench which corner the puck was going into as I'm coming back on defense, or something like that, where there was just some form of signal, but for the most part it was not really different for me. It might have been for my peers, but that's on them. I have a genetic condition called achromatopsia, and it affects the cones and rods in your eyes, so I'm left with 10% vision, a color blindness, and light sensitivity. So basically what someone sees, if you put it into numbers wise, that someone sees from 200 feet away, I would have to be 20 feet away. But in reality, I still probably would not see it. But when you look at numbers, that's kind of what 10% would look like. I think what really hooked me into goalball was the fact that it was a team sport. Growing up, I was always kind of on those team sports, and I really enjoyed having that companionship of others and being able to finish a tough game and know that you didn't finish it alone, you had everyone around you. And track is, as much as you're part of a team, you're also competing against your teammates, and that wasn't the huge appeal that I had to it. I very much enjoyed just the fact that goalball being such a small team, we're only a team of 6, and all of those individuals become your family and become a part of your life on and off the court. 2016 was my first international event outside of the junior level. For it to be a Paralympics, it was stressful, but I also think I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what an international competition looked like. I didn't even know what international teams looked like as far as caliber. So I was very fortunate to enter a team that was full of veterans. I was the only rookie on the team. They had so many years of support to offer. I look at one of my teammates, the late Nancy Moran, who her first games was the year I was born. And in 2016, we were on the court together. So it was really detrimental to my success in those 2016 games that I had my team to support me and reassure me that all of those anxious feelings and everything that you're going through is completely normal, and just feel them out, and we're here to support. I think the biggest surprise was when my coach turned to me and said, "Are you ready to go in?" I went in, and our coach, Trent Fairbrother, was very transparent with what my role was going to be on that team. And it was to just be a sponge, to just sit and really find out what an international competition looked like. And when he turned to me on game 3, halfway through, and said, "You're going in," I looked at him and I said, "Are you sure?" So I think that was my big surprise. Other than that, I think I just fell right into the pattern of it's just another game, and it's a game that I really enjoy playing. I look at Amy as my mentor. Being a long-standing captain of our team, the way that she carries herself is outstanding, and something that I hope younger athletes look at me and want to aspire to be that, because they see that as a positive impact on the team. I think without mentorship, we don't keep our young athletes around. If our veteran athletes who, everyone knows that your sport career ends at some point, and it is a reality that we all face, and somebody needs to come up and fill those spots that become vacant. So if we as veterans are out there and only worried about ourselves and not worried about the next generation of athletes that we're bringing forward underneath us, that is where our sport dies. I think one of the biggest things that is a barrier for us in recruitment is geography. We are such a big country, and when you think about different resources and we look at kind of the heavy hitters in the international stage in the Paralympics, a lot of them have many schools for the visually impaired, where it's basically, like just like you're showing up to a university basketball game where you have recruiters essentially showing up and hand-picking kids. We don't have that here outside of the School for the Blind in Brantford, but that definitely just targets a very small population. And I think that we as a society do quite well at visually impaired individuals just learning how to live in an integrated society, that they don't know the options that are out there. So I think a big part of it is just getting the word out and allowing for these visually impaired children, youth, adults, whoever it be, to have the opportunity to be exposed to the sport. But I think geography is a big one. We're quite a large country.